Here's the news at 9. First, the highlights. Lagos State Government receives Delta State delegation on study tour of fiscal planning, urban renewal development. Federal government expresses commitment to preserve, promote traditions of different ethnic groups nationwide. On the foreign scene, United Nations, United States condemns violence in Democratic Republic of Congo after drone attack. And in sport, Remo Stars reclaims top position on Nigeria Premier Football League table. I am John Omoaka. The Lagos State Ministry of Fiscal Planning and Urban Development has received the Delta State Commissioner for Urban Renewal, Michael Anoka, and his delegation on a visit to understudy the workings of the state ministry. Commissioner for Fiscal Planning and Urban Development, Onuyinka Onumide, who received them in his office at Alausa, said Lagos State has a lot to offer its peers as far as fiscal planning is concerned, as the state had over the years demonstrated resilience management strategies in the sector. Olumide said the administration of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu had given fiscal planning its pride of place with massive investment in operative development plans such as master plans, model city plans, action area plans, and development guide plans to birth an orderly, organized, and sustainable built environment. Explaining the purpose of his visit, the Delta State Commissioner for Urban Renewal, Michael Anoka, said he needed to understudy the Lagos State model as the state had demonstrated leadership in regulating the built sector, while the Delta State Ministry of Urban Renewal is just about 5 years old. Anoka, who was accompanied by directors in his ministry, was full of appreciation for the insightful knowledge and experiences gained from the visits. The Lagos State Fiscal Planning Permit Authority, LASPA, has renewed its call on property owners and practitioners in the built environment to voluntarily obtain planning permits for the proposed and built constructions. It also clarified to property owners and practitioners in the built environment going ahead to commence construction based on the possession of letter of authorization to commence construction without first obtaining planning permit is illegal and is liable to heavy sanctions by the law. General Manager of the authority, Kehinde Oshinaike, said this during an interactive meeting with selected real estate developers to evolve strategies to expand the authority's contribution to the achievement of the Themes Plus agenda of the Lagos State government. Oshinaike made it clear that the agency is the sole Lagos State government agency statutorily empowered to regularize change of use and urge stakeholders to contact LASPA headquarters or any of its 57 district offices for change of use consideration. He also decried the illegal change of use of existing buildings in various parts of the state as against the approved use in line with the operative development plan of the state. The general manager reiterated the importance of obtaining permits before commencing construction, stating that it is essential for proper urban planning and development control in the state, which will ultimately lead to a more organized and sustainable built environment in Lagos. Lagos State Police Command has shared security tips with Nigerians on how to avoid being a victim of one-chance robbery, urging them to adopt precautionary measures in the face of increasing insecurity across the country. In a statement shared by the State Police Public Relations Officer, Hyundai Benjamin, on its X account, Nigerians were urged to be aware of their surroundings and avoid boarding vehicles with tinted windows, among other safety tips. In his advisory, Hyundai also urged them to avoid vehicles that offer suspiciously lower rates, avoid taking rides from strangers, check the number plates of the vehicle, and send the details to a relative or friend as soon as they board. Avoid discussing money issues while in public transport. He added that citizens should become familiar with the Lagos State Police Command emergency lines 0806 5154 338, 0806 3299 264, or the Lagos State toll-free emergency lines 767 and 112. As promised, the Nigerian Immigration Service (NIS) will unveil the fully automated passport application system on March 8, 2024. Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo made this known in the post on his X handle. Tunji-Ojo explained that with these, applicants, including Nigerians in the diaspora, will enjoy a seamless experience in alignment with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu. Now to the rest of the stories. The federal government says it is committed to preserving and promoting the rich tradition and culture of different ethnic groups to foster sustainable unity in the country. Vice President Kashim Shettima stated this at the maiden Kanem Borno Cultural Summit held at Muhammadu Indimi International Conference Center, University of Maiduguri. Shettima, who was represented by the Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum, said Kanem Borno has survived more than 1,000 years of civilization, thereby making it one of these respected kingdoms across the world. He said Borno State has lost tangible and non-tangible material culture due to insurgency, while stressing the need to resuscitate the lost culture by inculcating in the younger generation the norms of values of Kanem people. President Bola Tinubu says Nigeria is ready to host the African Central Bank in line with the vision of the Abuja Treaty. Addressing leaders at the 37th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government of the African Union in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, the president said his administration would engage the African Union Commission to ensure the bank takes off in 2028. On education, which is the theme of this year's summit, President Tinubu said education is a core ingredient in the process of involving creative solutions to the lingering challenges confronting the continent. The African Development Bank, AFDB, has raised an alarm that rising prices of fuel and other commodities could lead to social unrest in Nigeria and other African countries. AFDB sounded a warning in its macroeconomic performance and outlook for 2024, in which it projected Africa's economy to grow higher than the 3.2% recorded in 2023. The bank, while projecting the growth on the continent will rebound to 3.8% in 2024, cautioned that an increase in fuel and commodity prices occasioned by currency depreciation or subsidy removal could trigger internal conflicts. It will be recalled that rising cost of living has become something to worry about in Nigeria, with some Nigerians hitting the streets in some states in recent times to protest the cost of living crisis, which they blamed on the federal government's policies of the petrol subsidy removal and floating of the naira. And now to foreign news. The United States has condemned growing violence in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, blaming an armed group it says is backed by neighboring Rwanda. Fighting has fled in recent days in the eastern part of the DRC between the M23 rebel group and government forces, resulting in dozens of soldiers and civilians being killed or wounded. The fighting has also pushed tens of thousands of civilians to flee towards the eastern city of Goma, which is located between Lake Kivu and the border with Rwanda. U.S. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller said this escalation has increased the risk to millions of people already exposed to human rights abuses, including displacement, deprivation, and attacks. Meanwhile, the DRC has accused Rwanda on Saturday of carrying out a drone attack which damaged a civilian aircraft at the airport in Goma. Now sports. Remo Stars Football Club has reclaimed top position in the Nigeria Premier League In the Nigerian Premier Football League, NPFL, the Sky Blue Stars held host Abia Warriors to a 0-0 draw in a matchday 2020 fixture. Remo Stars topped the standings with 36 points. And that's our news. But just before we go, ensure registration mark on your vehicle is clear and visible at all times. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms. X, formerly Twitter, Lagos Traffic 961. Instagram, Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Watch us live on Facebook, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. On YouTube, subscribe and watch all our previous programs and news on our channel, Traffic Radio 961. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration provided 450,000 pupils with e-learning devices? You can get more details on the Lagos State Government website. To end the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. The Lagos State Ministry of Fiscal Planning and Urban Development has received the Delta State Commissioner for Urban Renewal, Michael Omoaka, and his delegation on a visit to understudy the workings of the state ministry. The federal government has expressed its commitment to preserving and promoting the rich tradition and culture of different ethnic groups to foster sustainable unity in the country. We also tell you that the United States has condemned growing violence in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC, blaming an armed group it says is backed by neighboring Rwanda. And in sports, Remo Stars Football Club has reclaimed top position in the Nigeria Premier Football League, NPFL. For contact with the newsroom, send a message to Lagos Traffic Radio at lagosstate.gov.ng. That ends the news broadcast compiled by Adewale Olowoporoku. I am John Omoaka. Thank you very much for listening.